Welcome to the Dive Line podcast. Sitting next to me is my good friend Craig.
Hello. And sitting next to me is my good friend Jim.
Hello. This is episode 1 of series 1. What have we got coming up? We're going to be talking about the Go Diving show that myself and Craig went to last weekend. Some of the great people we met, who was there, what you can do, what you can see. We're going to be talking about SMBs and reels. And we're also going to be talking about some really positive environmental news to do with whales.
We certainly are, Jim. But before we go there, first of all, we have got to say an absolute massive thank you. Only 2 weeks ago, we put up our 20-minute introduction. And since then, we have had hundreds of downloads, shares, listens and likes and subscribers to both our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. So a huge thank you to everybody that's done that.
Yeah, I'd like to reiterate what Craig said. A huge thank you to everybody. I think it's quite overwhelming really that people actually want to listen to us and see us. So yeah, it's brilliant. Just keep downloading and listening and subscribing. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So before we go into the Go Diving show, I'd just like the listeners and viewers to sort of hear what we've been up to really last couple of weeks. So
yeah, good idea, Jim.
What have you been up to?
So last week I was at Miami Boat Show for work, and you know, I've said previously I'm in the marine industry, and Miami is always our last boat show of the year, and so sounds a crazy thing to say, but thank God the boat show season's over now until September, when it all starts again with Southampton Boat Show. Miami's boat show was great, saw a lot of our customers, some great innovative new product. Venue has changed in recent years and it's a little bit difficult to get to. You've got a choice of a coach or a boat. We get a ferry on the boat, but nearly all the boat ferries to get the people to the show are all the dive boats from Fort Lauderdale down to Miami. So not a great time of year to go diving in because all the boats are taken. All the boats are being used to ferry people in and out of Miami Boat Show for the 5 days that the show is on. Yeah, I mean, much nicer than getting in the bus and sitting in the traffic.
Yeah, but, excellent.
At least you're outdoors and on a boat.
Yeah, and you've been somewhere nice.
Yeah, but being on a boat with no tank and no BCD is a bit frustrating.
Yeah, absolutely.
Particularly if it's a dive boat.
Yeah, definitely.
And what about you, Jim? What have you been up to?
I've been doing some teaching in the pool, doing confined waters, doing a bit of teaching in the classroom. So I've been really enjoying that. I had some really great students, as we always do, that are really keen to learn, a father and son, which was quite funny, which are really competitive.
What age was the son?
Well, it was about 15, 16.
Oh, we are very competitive with that
absolutely.
At that age.
Yeah, so no, that was good fun, and I think the son just edged it a little bit, or that's what I told him anyway. Can't let the dad win, so that's been really good. Really enjoyed that. Just getting students ready for the start of the season, really, in April, because it's a bit cold here at the moment.
Excellent. So let's talk about Go Diving. What a great show. It's so nice to see a show that is so well supported by the industry. The whole industry, as in the manufacturers are there. It's not just retailers. The likes of Apex and Mari's and Scuba Pro and Sunto and Aqua and all the big names that you would expect were there. Of course, you've then got retailers or the training agencies and dive venues, and we'll talk about those some of those in a moment. But the thing that impressed me was that on both mornings, it's a 3-day show. So Friday is a trade-only day, and Saturday and Sunday are the days that it's open to the public. This is held at the Rico Arena in
so
Coventry.
It's a UK-based
beautiful venue.
Dive show.
Yeah, it's a UK-based dive show in the centre of the country, in the Midlands. In a great venue. It's a football and rugby stadium with a conference centre alongside, attached to it. Clean, newish building.
Rico Arena it is, isn't it?
So it's a good venue. On the Saturday, I walked outside 5 minutes after the opening of the show at 10 o'clock. and there was a lovely queue of people.
Yeah, I was in that queue.
Was you
I was standing in that queue waiting to get in.
Yeah, and that was 10 minutes after the show opened. There was a lot of people queuing to come in, and they got through. The queue moved very quickly.
It did.
Once the doors had opened. But seeing people queuing to get in was really nice, and fabulous venue. If you haven't been, you've got to go next year.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a very well supported show. What did you think, Jim?
Well, yeah, I mean, because they have everything, like you just covered there. They've got manufacturers, they've got retailers, they've got dive venues, not just UK dive venues, but global dive venues. They've got travel companies, they've got charities, they've got anything and everything you could possibly need in a dive show. And it's just amazing to see all of these people, and it's well supported, like you say. There are some famous people that were doing talks, in the media.
Some of those were fantastic.
And drawing in huge crowds, and doing great talks, like Steve Backshall talking about the sharks. Yeah. And it's
with
amazing.
Some incredible images behind
Absolutely.
it.
And we've got some of those images, haven't we? And it's just amazing.
And Monty Hall's talk about him and his family in the current TV series, My Family in the Galapagos. Incredible.
But to attract people like that to come and talk just shows you how well supported and how highly thought of this show is. Yeah. So I loved it, and I'll be going again next year. Yeah. For sure.
Well, as you know, I was there actually working for the 2 days, wearing my British Divers Marine Life Rescue hat, working on the stand. But you and I took the opportunity to swap hats and walk about and have a chat with a few people.
Absolutely.
And again, like we started off the show with thanking the public, cannot thank the industry enough for the level of support. We've been invited down to Paddy's headquarters in Bristol, and so we're going to be shooting some episodes.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, really excited about that, and that will be Paddy and
Project
Aware as well. The industry have offered us, and we won't name names at this point, but we're going to be given some gear for some long-term testing and short-term testing. So that's quite exciting.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's going to be really good. And we were really over the moon and really pleased.
And you've been invited on a trip to the Red Sea, haven't you?
Yeah, I have.
I haven't. You have.
You and I have both travelled with Scuba Travel.
Yeah.
And they're a UK-based company, and they're just experts at putting together really good livable trips all over the world. But one of the things that they specialise in is trips for photographers. And a liveaboard that's a photo trip is completely different to a normal boat. So in June, one of the UK's greatest photographers, Martin Guest, that's Martin with a Y, but Martin Guest does these boats regularly, and he does a workshop each evening, a little bit on lighting and use and positioning of strobes and aperture settings, and so at the end of the diving day,
on the boat.
At the end of the diving day, he'll do a presentation. So in June, I'm going along to one of Martin's boats. I've done one previously with him before, was in 2019. Was fantastic also in the Red Sea, in the southern Red Sea. Yeah. This is northern Red Sea. I think we're probably going to spend a whole day, maybe a day and a half, just on the Thistlegorm, getting those shots that everyone wants to get, positioning your strobes behind the jigs and all of that. So really looking forward to that, and looking forward to filming Martin's presentations, which he's given us permission to do. So on our YouTube channel later in the year, after June, when we get back, we'll get that edited up, and then people can see exactly what that type of diving's like.
Excellent. So there were other dive destinations there and other travel companies there. Too many to mention now. But a couple of the guys that we spoke to were Byron at Magma Dive.
Yes.
That's the volcano diving in Iceland.
That looks like the tap spin.
Yeah, that's Silver. So he runs the Silver and volcano diving, or Magma Dive, which is one of the top things for me to do on my list.
It's on your bucket list.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know people who have done it and spoken about it. So we had a good chat with Byron and the people on his stand there, Nick and Rebecca, I think it was. So yeah, I had a really good chat with them. And Craig from Mike Ball Diving and Mike Ball Adventures.
All the way from Australia.
Yeah, I mean, that just shows you again how well supported this is. He's flown in all the way from Australia just for
Just
3
for the show,
days,
yeah.
and he was saying he was flying straight back out again, but he felt it was important to be here to encourage UK divers to get back out to Australia and dive the Barrier Reef and things like that. So yeah, no, that was great.
Where is he located in America? In Australia?
In America, yeah.
He's moved.
He's moved. I don't think he knows that yet. I'm pretty sure he said Cairns.
He's in Cairns.
Yeah, I'd need to check that, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Cairns.
And that's Mike Ball.
Mike Ball Adventures. Yeah, so that's really good. So yeah, I mean, and like you said, all the training agencies were there. So you had Paddy, Nowie, BZAC, Raid, SSI, everybody was there, which is great to see.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's just so much going on, isn't there? And
Yeah,
you
the
just
pool.
can't. I don't think
Try
2
dives
days
in the pool.
Oh yeah, try dives in the pool or try and rebreathers or
Yeah.
there's just too much. You can't get around in 2 days. As a visitor, you were obviously on the stand, the BDMLR stand, so you were sort of working as well. But as a visitor, you just can't get around everybody. There's just so much.
I think the other thing that I think is really good about the show is the spread. Whether you're right at the start of your adventures into scuba diving and a complete beginner, right through to the tech divers and the guys from like Tim from Tech Camp, which I'm fortunate enough I'm going to Tech Camp this year in September.
Indeed,
But you know there was something for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, from rebreathers you just mentioned to cave diving specialities, right down to to lots of advice and help for people just starting out in scuba
everything,
and everything in
isn't it?
between.
Everything. So Tech Camp, that's maybe something if you're doing that. When you're doing that, when's that? September?
So Tech Camp is Vosper Key in September. 4 days of technical training.
4 days.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's a 4-day course. The last couple of days are for people that are more advanced than I am. I'm only doing the first 2 days, but the Tech Camp itself is 4 days. Rebreathers, side mount. Twin tanks, which I dive with, but also scooters to play with.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to.
So maybe we could come down there and
and do some filming and then do a report on Tech Camp after the show.
That sounds good.
But definitely, as we get closer to Tech Camp, maybe in August, we'll do a bit of a feature and perhaps see if we can get Tim on and have a chat about
excellent.
Tech Camp and what it's all about.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay.
Also, there was a few charities, and a couple really jumped out at us, Jim, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the biggest one for me was the Dive Project Cornwall, a chap called Andy.
That's an impressive initiative.
I mean, that's just incredible what he's trying to do. You know, I mean, we came across him. We were actually given his leaflet by somebody else, weren't we? And we both looked at it at the same time and said, wow, let's ring him. So I rang him straight away, didn't I? I rang him straight away and he came back.
Where are you at the show, Andy?
He came back and spoke to us, which is great. And what he's trying to do is get 400 kids from 20 inner cities down to Cornwall and give them the opportunity of a lifetime to learn to dive.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a massive and unbelievable initiative. He needs to raise £158,000. So he told us he was halfway there.
Yeah.
So we felt it was good to talk about it on our episode now, because we want to help raise awareness for that. We think it's such a great thing.
First of all, the opportunity for the kids, and the second of all, always in any industry, bringing new blood in is always the struggle. You go on Liverpool, so you see the age of people, and a lot of people have been diving many years. But how do we bring new people into this fantastic sport that you and I and other divers love, and to give that opportunity to youngsters? What a great initiative!
It's incredible.
Diver Project Cornwall, their website is diveproject2020.co.uk. And so have a look at that, and anyone that's able to help and support, what a fantastic initiative.
Yeah, I mean, there are some big names already. Involved with it, from Paddy to Rick Stein, the celebrity chef. Lots of people are involved in this and getting behind it.
And it happens in September, doesn't it?
It starts in September.
Starts in September this year,
You know, I've offered my services as an instructor, but he turned me down, so, you know, I feel disheartened by that, but that's fine.
Perhaps we'll just go down and video for an episode.
He wanted a good instructor, so that's fine. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that, and I'd like to go down, and I think we're going to meet up with Andy soon, aren't we? So that's really good. And the other one was the Peek Under the Surface.
Another great initiative. Yeah. And,
Yeah, I mean, you just came across that as we were wandering around, didn't you?
just happened to notice a single poster, and I looked at it and thought, this is a fabulous idea. So peek under the surface. Just all they asked for is your unwanted mask. And everyone.
I've sent 2 off already.
And I've got one that's just about to go, and it's my spare.
Your spare.
I don't need a spare. They can have it. So where's the location that these masks are going, Jim?
So it's going to Indonesia, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And what they're doing, they're donating these masks to adults and children, and it's not just masks; it's goggles as well.
Yeah.
Just so these local people can literally peek under the surface and see what's underneath this, because they rely on the ocean so much for everyday life.
It's about educating them and them able to see the environment that surrounds them.
Although they need the ocean and it's a way of life for them, there's so much litter around in Indonesia as well, and they're partly to blame for that. So it's trying to educate them and get them to look under and say, look, this is what you need to take care of.
Yeah.
Take care of the environment. And the education, that just looking under there with those donated masks is going to make a huge bit of difference.
Yeah,
it's massive.
Yeah, so their website's quite a long one, but again, you can link directly off of our homepage. Is www.diverworldwide.com/divelog/peek under the surface, and peek under the surface has a hyphen between each word, so it's peek hyphen under hyphen the hyphen surface. As I say, it's quite a long one to remember. For those watching on YouTube, you'll see it behind us on the screen now. However, if you want to go to our website, which is www.thediveline.com, there is a link on the right hand side of the homepage for the 3 charities, the 2 we just mentioned and the BDMLR, that you can just click straight on and go and view the information on the charities we just mentioned.
Brilliant. Okay, let's talk about SMBs and DSMBs. So surface marker buoys or delayed surface marker buoys. So obviously there's a difference. What's the difference then?
So a surface marker buoy stays exactly there on the surface. So that's something that, like a flag or sometimes inflatable, that a diver on a drift dive particularly would tow behind them and permanently stays on the surface, so that the boat can see where the diver or the groups of divers are actually located, particularly on a drift dive. A delayed surface marker buoy is something that the diver actually takes down with them, and you'll see them rolled up, clipped on or in a pocket, and there's a delay between taking that out, putting air in it, and it reaching the surface, hence the DSMB, delayed surface marker buoy. Yeah,
so they come in various different colours. Predominantly for recreational diving, we use sort of a reddy, orangey coloured one. You can get yellowy, green ones, you can get pink ones. But yeah, we predominantly use the red ones. We use them, all of these bright colours, for visibility.
That's right.
That's primarily what they're for, isn't it? So when you're out in the open ocean, your rib, your boat, your crew can see where you are, where you surface or where you're about to surface, and they can come and get you.
Yeah, interesting point about colours, Jim.
Yeah.
The recreational divers you'll often see with the red and orange colour proven to be very visible on the surface. What a lot of recreational divers perhaps don't know is that tech divers use the luminous green-yellow colour as their emergency signal.
Oh, right.
So they'll carry 2. A tech diver will have a red for his DSMB, and he'll have a green for emergency.
Oh, okay.
And often you get these divers in the same area. So if you're a leisure diver, stick to the red and orange colours.
So there could be a bit of confusion.
Potentially.
Okay, that's interesting, worth knowing. I didn't know that. Excellent. Okay, so with your SMB or DSMB, you often have a reel as well. There's various different types of reel. I tend to favour a little finger reel, certainly on holidays and liverboards, because it's light, I can store it away in my pocket, easy to use, especially without gloves and things like that. I mean, when we're here, it's slightly different. I know you use a bigger reel, don't you?
Yeah, I prefer a stainless reel clipped on that I unclip to deploy, and particularly diving in the UK with thick gloves on. On a liveaboard, as you say, the small reels, thin gloves or bare hands.
Or if you're on a wreck, of course,
perfect,
you're on a wreck, aren't you? You need a bigger, more sturdy reel, and you're going to tie that off and follow that back. So yeah, you need I've got one of those reels as well for when we go on wrecks and penetrate wrecks. So yeah, there's lots of different reels out there. I'd always advise going to your local dive shop, depending on the dive that you're doing and experience and what you need. Go and speak to them to see which one you need. But just a note on clipping it on, never clip your DSMB or SMB to you're unclipping yours, and that's what you said, but just to make sure we don't clip things to, certainly if that goes up and you send that up, and that's clipped to you, that can be cause quite a bit of an incident there.
Everything that you have should be clipped on until you deploy it.
Absolutely.
At that point, you always must handhold it. If it gets caught up with a strong current, or particularly a boat drives across and picks it up,
absolutely,
you need to be able to let go. You do not want that
yeah.
attached to you at that point. So yeah, always unclip to deploy.
Cool. We have got some videos. Myself and Craig are going diving later on this week, and we're going to attempt to take some videos of us doing this perfectly well, textbook.
How-to videos, yeah. And I think perhaps there may be some how not to.
Yeah, and I think we'll show them as well. We'll put them on the website and some on Facebook, I guess, so you can see it. I mean, with SMBs, it's worth practicing and practicing and practicing. Don't get in a buddy pair and always let your buddy do it because he's better at it. Yeah. Practice this and master the skill, because it's such a vital skill if you're out in the ocean. Don't always leave it to your buddy. Something could happen to his SMB, or it could get taken away, like we just said, in a current. Something could happen and you might need to use your SMB. So
yeah, well, it's a really good valid point, Jim, because I had an experience with SMBs, or I should correct that and say the lack of SMB, because I was with a dive buddy on a drift dive, and he had, not only did he have the surface marker buoy, he also had an SMB. We got split up.
And you didn't have one.
So, you know, and I was very early in my diving life. I think it was my 5th or 6th ocean dive.
So you didn't realise you needed one?
Didn't know any better, and he had one and didn't really think anything of it, didn't think he'd use it. And I've never ever been in open water since then without my own SMB. And being in a dive buddy with one SMB between you is just not enough.
No, it's
because
not.
If you do get split up, you need to be able to send up a surface marker buoy so that people can see where you are.
Yeah.
When you surface, you want boats to know that you're in that position, and the whole visibility thing. You want the boat that you're with to be able to see you.
Absolutely.
And that's what
that's an experience there that you needed one, didn't have one.
Yeah.
And we said about visibility. So I went, last time I was in the Red Sea, I was with one of my friends, and he's got his bright red SMB, but he's made it quite visible on his. He's handwritten on one side of it, coffee, white, 1 sugar. So that when that goes up, when he's getting picked up on the boat,
and like his style,
they know exactly what he's after as soon as he surfaces.
Put the kettle on, I'm coming up.
Yeah. So I thought that was quite funny, and I always remember that. So I mean, there's various different reasons for having SMBs and DSMBs, but always take one if you're out on the open ocean or going on a dive boat. Always take one with you.
Yeah, and we're going to put those videos on the diveline.com, and they'll be up within the next week or 7 days.
Absolutely.
Week, 7 days, I think that.
Yeah, it's probably a bit long. In the next few days.
Yeah. Within the next week of finishing this podcast and getting it out, we'll have those videos up.
Yeah, in the next few days, they'll be on the website. Cool. I mean, we can probably do a whole episode on this and show people actually on the YouTube that, you know, what reels are available and which ones, what they do, what they look like. We could probably do a whole thing. So, you know, that's what we're talking about, is just the basics.
You've got some news for us regarding whales.
Well, yeah, it's just something that I've seen, really.
Is this the country? It's beautiful.
No, not Wales, the country.
Oh,
this is kind of almost sort of scuba diving and ocean related, really.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've seen this story pop up a few times now, and I think it's every time I read it, it just makes me feel quite happy, because it's about humpback whales and blue whales.
Oh, beautiful. You've got some experiences there.
Yeah, I mean, I've been so close and up close to humpback whales in Australia, you know, so close that I could reach and touch it. Yeah, I could actually touch. And these little big baby ones, you know, could almost reach out and touch them. That, you know, they're such incredible animals. It's unbelievable. So
who doesn't like a whale sighting?
Exactly. Everybody wants to see a whale, but the stories that I've read are about the recovery of humpback whales and blue whales, and lots of people will have seen this over the last couple of weeks. But it's worth noting that they're up to sort of extraordinary levels now of sort of 25,000.
Wow.
So that's kind of almost at pre-whaling numbers.
Fantastic.
It's about 90% of pre-whaling numbers.
It just shows that change of behaviour means the oceans can recover.
Absolutely. I mean, they say that they probably were down to as little as 450 animals.
That's frightening.
That's scary, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the recovery now to 25,000 or more is amazing.
Because
and I think
of the IWC?
Yeah, well, the International Whaling Commission and Sea Shepherd.
Sea Shepherd have made an incredible difference.
Yeah, I think the International Whaling Commission have clearly made a difference, and all the countries that signed up to it, 86 countries, I think it is. I mean, we'd have to check that, but a vast amount of countries signed up to it and didn't.
A lot of people don't realise that actually started at the end of the Second World War. I think it was 1946.
Yes, 1946.
And Britain was commercially whaling right up until 1963.
Oh, really?
Before we stopped being a commercial whaling country.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was.
So that's not long ago.
No, that's recent history, and to have that sort of recovery at 25,000 now.
Yeah,
it just shows
incredible. Absolutely incredible, and I think it's worth pointing out that as a population and as people, we understood that there was a problem there, and we've changed it and made a huge difference in such a short space of time.
Yeah,
I think as divers and that responsibility we've spoken about before, we can make such a huge difference all around the world with lots of different things, can't we?
Yeah,
and that is proof of it. And Sea Shepherd started this 12 years ago, going down to the Antarctic, 2008.
That? Wow.
And look, imagine how many thousands they've saved.
And that's actually, I say as long ago as that, but in such a short time, in the last dozen years, the difference that
Absolutely.
IWC, Sea Shepherd, and everyone that's campaigned against whaling, the difference that has made to see a population recover like that. There are actually over 80 different species of whales, porpoises and dolphins in the world, collectively known as cetaceans.
That's a lot.
And what a lot of people don't know is that here in the UK we have 29 of those worldwide species. We're a bit of a hotspot for cetaceans here in the UK. You've got very, very deep waters off the Atlantic shelf off to the coast of Ireland. And that means there's an abundance of prey for the cetaceans to go after and to feed, and so we've got an awful lot of from everything from fin whales to sperm whales to dolphins and porpoises,
and basking sharks and all sorts of.
And there's in the North Sea there are big pods of killer whales, which by the way are not whales. Killer whales are actually a dolphin. It's from
a very big dolphin.
Yes, dolphin family that people think of whales because of their name. And because the numbers are so high, that does mean that unfortunately we do get strandings. And little known fact, we get around 500 strandings or cetaceans washed up on our beaches a year.
What, in the UK?
Here in the UK alone.
500?
Yeah. And I mean, just this month we've had a 63-foot fin whale down on the beach, and that unfortunately was a life stranding on the rocks in Cornwall. And of course, even though they're air breathers, they can't support their body weight out of the water, and that quickly died. There are two positives to take from that very unfortunate statistic. Yeah, I mean, it is a terrible statistic, but there are two positives. The first positive is you can't study the animals in the wild other than just viewing them. So from a scientific point of view, it does give us the opportunity to study skeletons and bone
so the biology
of the animal. The second positive to take from it is that if the numbers of cetaceans around our waters was very low, you wouldn't see anywhere near that number. So at least it shows that how well the populations of cetaceans are doing around the British coast.
So you're putting a positive spin on that, and looking at it from a different angle. If we didn't have,
it's always a terrible thing, but it does create a lot of awareness, and people, will there'll be thousands on the beach when we have an unfortunate stranding, and people learn a bit more with social media. They're sharing and talking about it on Facebook. Facebook, and so it makes people more aware, and the scientific, as I mentioned, the biology, and so there are some there are some positives to take from the unfortunate incidences.
Oh, so they're kind of Craig's facts of the day, they are, aren't they? Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I think that brings us to a natural end, really, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so all we've got to say is thank you for listening and downloading, liking and subscribing. Please continue to do so. We appreciate everyone that does. And if you want to interact with us within Facebook and on the website, then do so. We'll always try and reply.
Don't forget to mention the composition, Jim.
Oh yes, competition. Would you like me to model for this?
Yes, so we have competition at the moment on Facebook. If you have a look at the Dive Line on Facebook, the prize is to win one of our fleeces. Doesn't matter where you are in the world, we will send that out to you as a question to answer, and like and share our Facebook page, and we'll draw a winner at the end of March.
Okay, and it'll probably look a lot better on you than it does on me. So
undoubtedly.
Yeah. Okay, so yes, thank you to everybody. Do please look on our website and check out those charities that we mentioned right at the beginning.
Yeah. And it's worth mentioning, Jim, what's coming up on the next episode.
Yeah, episode 2.
Yeah, really excited to have Marcus from Scuba Confidential coming in and talking to us about liveaboards and the experiences that he had as he was doing that for so many years. So if any of you have got any experiences you'd like to share on our Facebook page before the next episode, we'll talk about those when Marcus comes in.
Yeah, or any questions that you want to ask, or want us to ask Marcus, we'll be happy to put them to him. So yeah, just get involved and let us know.
Yeah, super. So I think on that note, it's goodbye from Jim.
And it's goodbye from Craig.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you for watching and listening to the Dive Line podcast. We really appreciate it. Just to emphasise, we do not represent any training agency or dive centre. All views and opinions in this episode are our own. If you'd like to follow us, we are on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and YouTube as the Dive Line Podcast. Thanks again for watching and listening.